Presidential pardons, mercy for offenders, hurt for victims. Hi, I'm Sarah Rainey, Mama Bear, and let me cut through all illusions. My son is dead because this justice system treats criminals like victims and victims like afterthoughts. Now I see leaders toss out pardons and plea deals like party favors. Wow. Families like mine still kneel at the grave sites. Dennis Rodriguez Abeda Jr. is a narcissistic repeat offender who was coddled by the courts until he killed my son. He was enabled by a mature woman, his mother, who openly drank with him and posted it on Facebook while he violated his PR, his personal reconnaissance bond, and disappeared. And a father who is an alcoholic felon. But he's not some lost boy who never had a chance. He's a grown man who has repeatedly made adult choices, and each of those choices has hurt someone. Many people grow up in alcoholic families without becoming killers. His past isn't a shield. His excuses don't deserve pity. And if they ever release him, he will destroy another family. When I talk about justice, it's not political. It's personal. Because when our leaders use pardons and plea deals like party favors, victims like me pay the price all over again. A pardon may seem like forgiveness, but forgiving without accountability isn't justice. It's abandonment. When a president pardons or commutes a conviction, they're not just releasing the offender, they're reopening wounds that never heal. Victims lose their sense of closure, safety, and faith in the rule of law. Right now, I have lost all faith in our justice system. Believe me, listening to Congress makes it worse. Because every special pardon for the powerful drains the system, pulling judges and officials away from DUI victims like us who are still begging to be heard. And before I go any further, I need to say this. Presidential pardons aren't the only danger. We now have people like R.H.E. Pam Bondi and several Republican senators standing on national stages arguing that felons need more benefits, more support, more second chances. Well, victims like me can't even get the basic rights guaranteed by law. They call it compassion. I call it blindness because the system is already stacked in the offender's favor. And these politicians want to tilt it even further. All the while, victims sit in the dark like me, begging for scraps of justice. When leaders with power start advocating for more chances for criminals, they are telling every victim in this country, your suffering is negotiable. And I refuse to accept that. My son deserves respect. My message to victims, you're not crazy for feeling angry. You're watching the system tell you that your pain can be undone with a signature. And it's not just about high-profile criminals or political pardons. This affects every victim, including those of DUIs, assaults, and crimes that never make headlines. When our leaders hand out pardons, it sends a message through every courtroom that accountability is optional. Victims are a nuisance to ignore and not give us our victims' rights or liaisons for the parole process. For DUI victims, that message is heartbreaking. We already see plea deals that allow offenders 2. Avoid harsher penalties by opting for probation, treatment programs, or short sentences. A pardon only deepens that betrayal. It tells repeat offenders, if you wait long enough or say the right words, someone powerful might erase what you did. And here's the harsh truth about plea deals. Victims don't matter. They don't have to tell us, hear us, or even acknowledge us. In my case, they made a plea deal in secret and only told me afterward, after they rewrote justice. If a victim doesn't force the district attorney's office to give them their rights, the criminal gets all the advantages and help. Victims get nothing, no voice, no closure, and no respect. Every one of these failures, from plea deals to pardons, say to victims, your story doesn't matter anymore, but it does. It matters more than ever. When pardons or plea deals are handed out, the cameras show mothers, wives, and children hugging the offender, celebrating the freedom of the very person who destroyed someone else's world like mine. But what they never show is where I stand at my son's, Kenley's grave, talking to a headstone instead of hearing his voice. They don't show the other mothers kneeling in the dirt, the fathers gripping folded photos, or the siblings who visit a cemetery instead of a family dinner. Friends and fiancés who have lost someone they loved and planned a future with. For us, a pardon or a dreaded plea deal that always favors the criminal isn't mercy. It's another punch in the chest or in the mouth. It rewrites our children's lives into political soundbites and erases the truth of what was really taken. And every time the system lists the offender's family while ignoring ours, it reminds us again that justice has favorites. And victims like Kenley and every victim like him are never the ones who get their rights. Their freedom steals our future. Their celebrations reopen wounds. And every victim knows this. We're left to pick up the shattered lives, while the system comforts the very people who caused the damages. I fight for Kenley and I fight for every family still crying at the gravesites. Kenley's life was stolen, and so were the lives of countless others. We all carry the same wound, the system list of offenders, while victims learn to grieve in silence. I won't stay silent anymore. That's why in my upcoming videos, I will be teaching victims how to make sure he doesn't walk. By he, I mean Dennis Rodriguez Abeda Jr. doesn't walk out of that prison a day sooner than the law allows. And I'll be giving a full blueprint so other victims can protect themselves, their cases, and their loved ones from the same injustice. Please subscribe and join the fight. Victims deserve justice. Families deserve answers. And together, we can make sure no one gets erased again. I am Sarah Rainey, the proud mother of Dr. Kenley Jean Rainey, and I am going to fight to keep Dennis Rodriguez Abeda in prison. Thank you.